Today I'm joined by Susan Terrell. She's the wedding manager at Wadhurst Castle. Many thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for including me in your podcast series. Very excited to see it come out. And I always love a chat with you.
So tell me, how did your career bring you to be the venue manager at
Well, a very
Wadhurst Castle?
strange route. I trained as a lawyer many years ago and served my time in the city and was a commercial property lawyer. And really enjoyed it. But I felt drawn to doing something that was a little bit more people orientated. And just by luck, really, I ended up stumbling on becoming a celebrant, trained as a celebrant, and was a celebrant for many years.
Wow.
Became a registrar and worked in the registration service, so all aspects of registration, including weddings, for a number of years. And really wanted to do something a little bit more bespoke that was, again, much more couple orientated. And so I was led to end up at Wadhurst Castle, which is, as you say, absolutely stunning venue. And it's really very much a wedding venue where we celebrate and enjoy each couple at a time, each wedding at a time, and it's a fantastically creative outlet for me and everybody else who's involved there.
Oh, it's a fabulous venue, isn't it?
It really is.
And so how long have you been there now?
I've been there for about 6 years.
Right.
I have met all sorts of absolutely wonderful people in the wedding industry along that journey. And learnt so much. You learn from every single wedding that you do. So yeah, it's been fantastic. Wadhurst Castle it's a really special place, and I think people talk about hidden gems, but
it really is, isn't it?
It really is a hidden gem. It's nestled by the village of Wadhurst, which is on the Kent and East Sussex border. But there are so many people who live locally and have absolutely no idea that it exists, and that actually suits us very well because the right couples will find us.
Yeah.
And we will then enjoy looking after them.
So how long has it been doing weddings? Because I remember, I think when we first filmed there, it was fairly early days, I think.
So it's been owned by the present Fitzgerald family since, I think, the 1950s, the mid-1950s. Oh, right. So the castle itself is a Regency castle. It's set in the most stunning 140-acre private estate, as you know. And I don't think it was intended to be a wedding venue for quite some time. I think it happened organically.
Right.
I think it organised or certainly allowed some people to get married there, probably as favours to family and friends, and then thought, this suits this place so well. So it's become a business. But I think the origins of it being a private estate and a private home is still very evident today. It isn't a bespoke commercial venue.
No.
It's emerged organically from what is there.
Yeah. And what are the capacity numbers that you can take for ceremonies, both in the castle and outside?
So we are so blessed with areas where people can have legal weddings. Obviously, we do lots of symbolic ceremonies and they can take place anywhere. But legally, we have 3 indoor areas. We have the drawing room, the beautiful winter garden, which is this stunning orangery, and we have the barn. Maximum just over 100. And then we have 2 stunning garden areas, which you know well. And again, just over 100. So really our weddings are the smaller to the mid-size weddings, which are typically, I think these days, from about 60 up to just over 100. Although we do a small and intimate package, which is for anywhere from 2 up to about 30 people.
Oh, lovely.
And that's fantastic. And there's been a real move towards the smaller and the more intimate weddings. So we do have people coming from abroad often.
Oh, wow.
There'll be half a dozen of them and they'll just have the most wonderful day. Then they fly off again. It's fantastic.
How lovely. How lovely. And obviously you've got a variety of caterers, haven't you, that couples can choose from. So tell me about the caterers.
So people say it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to create a beautiful wedding. It really does. And we are so blessed to work with such incredible suppliers, of which you are absolutely an integral one. But we do ask that couples choose from our panel of caterers. We have 3 caterers on our panel at the moment. They're all very different, and that is very deliberately so. We do want to give people a choice and a genuine choice.
Yeah.
There's no reason to force anybody to have the catering that you think that they might want. People have such a varied taste. And we do welcome guest caterers from time to time.
Okay.
People have a religious requirement, an ethnic requirement, particular type of cuisine that is a speciality. Absolutely. Right. They're welcome to introduce somebody. And we'll always look at that as an option. The rest of the suppliers that we work with are just people who are particularly good at what they do.
Yeah.
They're sometimes local. We do really like to promote local talent, but what they'll have in common is that they'll be genuinely nice people. They'll look after our couples extremely well, and they're damn good at what they do.
Yeah.
And we will supply those lists to all of our couples, but it's obviously up to them whether they use them or not. We don't tie people down.
No. It just makes sense, though, doesn't it? Because when you know a venue, it's so much easier to work there.
Absolutely.
And I always feel, from our point of view, we always get the absolute, we get the best out of the day for the couple if we worked at that venue before.
And you can see it in the results.
Yeah.
Because when I look at a video that you've produced, it's evident that you know and love the venue. You know where the light is going to be. You know the angles that work really well. And you just end up with a beautiful product for the couples to keep.
Oh, thank you. So what do you think couples love most about the castle?
I think that it's a hidden gem.
Yeah.
I think that it's not a commercial venue that does 150 weddings a year. To me, it's a bit of a Goldilocks castle. It's not too grand, but it's not grand enough. It has a homely feel about it. It has rooms which are just the right size for the numbers that we introduce. It has stunning gardens, and the gardens are undoubtedly one of the biggest draws.
They're beautiful.
They really are beautiful, and there's such a generous amount of space available and included. If you don't use the space, nobody else will. So it is genuinely exclusive to each of our couples. And of course, the views.
Oh, they're amazing, aren't they?
They are amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
You never get bored of those views. And throughout the day, the sun sets into the evenings. It's just a beautiful place for any wedding, any celebration.
It really is. One aspect I really love is in the room where the brides can get ready. You've got that lovely balcony. I mean, that is the best view, isn't it? It's just absolutely stunning.
So that dressing room is what I call a wow room.
Yeah.
And I call it that because whenever we go upstairs and we say, and this is the dressing room, because sometimes the groom uses it, whoever has the greater hair and makeup needs, please use the room. But it has these incredible French doors with views uninterrupted over the estate. And inevitably, people walk in and they go, wow.
Yeah.
It has a fantastic, serene feeling, which is just the best way to start your wedding day.
Yeah. No, it is. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's very light, which obviously that's great for your makeup artists, and it's just lovely, really lovely room.
It is lovely, and I think that's an integral part of wedding day, is spending those hours in the morning, getting ready, being a little bit spoilt by everybody around you, and just enjoying seeing the buzz of all the suppliers arriving and setting up down below while you can see it happening. Just sets the scene. Yeah. It's a stage, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. But I also love the staircase. So when the brides come down the staircase, on their way to the ceremony. That it's just fabulous, isn't it? Lovely
it is
wooden,
beautiful.
Beautiful staircase.
It is beautiful. And it's the scene of lots of special moments.
Yeah.
So those first looks,
Yeah.
very often the first look with maybe a father or somebody who might be giving the bride or the groom away. It's a very, very special place. We've had speeches take place
Yes.
there. There are so many lovely little backdrops to special moments. That's the wonderful thing about Wadhurst is that each room is quite unique. There's some fantastic use of colour and things around to admire, antiques and mirrors, and it's just wonderful.
The suit of armour.
There's two, and I mean this very informally. I have named them Horace and Hector. One is headless. One has the shield with the pointy on it, yes, they look after us and they make sure we're behaving. Yes,
Make sure the guests are behaving.
absolutely.
And is it just weddings that you hold at the castle? Do you offer any other event space at all?
Oh, we do all sorts of things. I'd say that weddings are predominantly what we're known for, but of course there are wonderful special celebrations, anniversaries, big birthdays that we do, and we have a very active corporate side as well. So away days, meetings, seminars, dinners, industry dinners, all sorts of things.
Oh, wow.
So you'd be
Gosh.
surprised what we get up to.
Goodness me. Gosh, yes, because obviously it lends itself so well to weddings, but yet there is, it's such beautiful space, isn't it?
Well, the spaces that you use for all sorts of different celebrations are pretty much the same, really, in terms of space. How you dress it will differ.
Yeah.
But the space there lends itself beautifully to all sorts of things. So we've had recently little fairs going on there, antiques valuation days.
Oh, wow.
You'd be surprised. You would be surprised. It's a great space.
And what about accommodation? Can couples stay on site?
Absolutely. So we have and have had for a little while a beautiful 3-bedroom cottage, which is right next to the barn. The barn is right next to the castle. It's all very conveniently located. And very often we have people staying either for short holidays or slightly longer holidays, but obviously around weddings and events. Absolutely perfect and really useful. But we've recently built a little hidden woodland lodge just beyond the oak tree and the mound. So it's absolutely a little fairy woodland lodge, absolutely beautiful. And there's a second one now being built. So there is accommodation. It's all very beautifully tucked away in different parts of the estate, but fantastically convenient to stay in.
And obviously there are many local hotels, aren't there, that guests can...
Well, we're surrounded, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're surrounded by, and we have everything from Airbnbs, which are fantastic. Yeah. You've got really big, grand ones and little tiny ones. You've got rooms above pubs. We've got some really smart hotels, haven't we, really locally?
Yeah.
So in terms of the whole package, a lot of people come from abroad or from other parts of the UK. Gives people a base. And then they can enjoy seeing this part of the world, because we live in a beautiful part of the world. There's a lot here to see and enjoy.
Yeah. And obviously you've got lots of parking on site at the castle, haven't you? So
Parking is not a problem at all. And we always encourage people, we are a responsible venue, to book a taxi, leave your car overnight, come and get it the next morning. So, all the facilities are there. We'd make it as easy as we possibly can for people and as convenient. We've obviously got the station as well. It's within walking distance. And that is direct line into London. So we're really pretty well situated for such a lovely country hidden gem.
So tell me about the normal timeline for a wedding day.
I don't have one. And I love that I don't have one. Of course, I can present you with a timeline. And of course, you and I both know there are things that tend to follow a pattern. But I honestly start with every couple and a blank piece of paper.
Oh, brilliant.
And it's very much, down to them. What would they like to do with their day? There are things that we're probably going to have to get in, but how that looks varies so much from couple to couple. And then I think there are things that will predetermine how that might look. So, for example, don't start with a random time of your ceremony. I always say to people, number one, are you inviting extra evening guests? You are. Okay. Let's plan backwards from that and then think about everything we want to do during the day. You'll end up with the perfect time for your ceremony. Rather than having a ceremony time, trying to squeeze it all in. So there are lots of different factors that might.
Wow.
That was an early start.
That is an early start.
And then I have done weddings where they have a very romantic idea of a beautiful twilight wedding and they want to get married as the sun sets. And that might be 6, 7, 8 o'clock. Absolutely fine.
Fantastic.
Beautiful, beautiful.
But it's so sensible to plan backwards, because one thing I always worry about is if the day overruns and you've got evening guests coming. You know, I've been filming on a few occasions where you're filming, you know, in the speeches, and then the evening guests are arriving and sort of loitering outside.
Absolutely.
That's one thing to really avoid, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think planning. And I think the more relaxed you want your wedding to be, the better planned it has to be. So if you are going to have evening guests and you say to them, come at 7 o'clock, please don't assume they'll come at 7 o'clock. They won't.
No.
They'll come at any time between 6:30 and 8 o'clock. So have a contingency. Have a lovely place to welcome them. Have a drink waiting for them, so that if things don't quite line up, which they probably won't, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's just always thinking about the flow of the day and the contingency. Good planning. No problems.
Brilliant. And do you offer on-the-day coordination?
We certainly do. Couldn't do it without us. No, we do. We're not wedding planners. And there is a difference between a full wedding planning service and on-day coordinators. But what we do as a venue is work closely with our couples to make sure that we're helping them come up with a really good day plan and sort of slightly nudging where it might be helpful. Ultimately, it's their day, but we're there to help. But on the day, we're there to meet, greet, and just help the whole day flow beautifully. We try and remain unobtrusive, but we're just trying to sort of have all the day go beautifully, work with all the suppliers so that we're all working together and making sure that it all goes beautifully. We love what we do.
Brilliant. And it shows.
Thank you. No, we do. We're a very small team, as you know, and we're all very passionate about what we do, and I think it shows. It's a great place, and we get fantastic feedback and reviews from people that we've been lucky enough to work with, because they can see that we're there because we genuinely love what we do.
No, it really does show, and it makes such a difference to the couple.
Oh, I think so. Well, we've just been voted for the 3rd year in a row the Hitched Best Castle wedding venue, which is incredible. And the reason why I think we're so proud of it is that the Hitched Awards are based on the reviews that real couples leave you. You can't apply for it. You can't pay your way into it. It's the couples' reviews that decide it. So to win it 3 years in a row on the basis of what couples have thought of us is, well, it means everything to us.
That's absolutely, what an accolade. That's fantastic.
We're very proud of it. We really are.
So what's the most unusual ceremony you've seen at the castle?
Oh, well, you're not going to try and get some stories out of me. I think there are so many different types of ceremonies, aren't there? And I think that if you have a legal ceremony, there are constraints. Obviously, you need to say certain things in order for it to qualify as a legal ceremony. But registrars these days try very, very hard to be flexible, incorporate different elements and personalised vows, for example, that are meaningful to a couple. We have lots of symbolic ceremonies as well. And those are much wider in their scope because they might introduce spiritual elements, they might introduce different religious backgrounds or all sorts of things. And they're rather fantastic. And we get some fantastic independent celebrants who come and put their twist on it. And that's absolutely wonderful to see. So we see a huge variety.
What's the most romantic thing you've seen at a ceremony?
That's such a great question. I think every wedding, by very definition of romance, is that moment between two people where they are in front of their friends and family, pledging themselves to each other. And it's such an optimistic, positive, pure romantic moment. So I'd say every single one. There are some that you can't help but touch you, and I'm such a sap. The times that I have to sort of, hold back the tears, I can't tell you. I think when you know that people have had a hard path to get to that moment, you can see what it means to them, and that is very touching. Sometimes blended families, when you see the introduction of maybe children that are being welcomed into this newly formed family, that can be extremely touching. And I think anything that is personal, it's such a vulnerable moment, isn't it? Revealing in front of others what you love about the other person and declaring it publicly, those personalised vows. It's such a beautiful, beautiful moment.
And how much can the couples personalise the venue to suit their day?
We really try and be as flexible as we can. That's within the constraints of it being a historic building, being part of a rural community. So we have to be very respectful of where we are. But I always explain to people, if I'm going to say no to something, it's always a no because. It's not just a no. I will explain why we can't do that. I'll give you an example. You can't fly your private jet. We're too bumpy. We have nowhere to helicopter, we can't, unfortunately, have fireworks because we have sheep on the estate and we can't do that. So there's always a no because, but we try to be a venue that is a fantastic backdrop to a lot of different visions of a wedding, which means we get such a variety of people with their ideas. So we're fortunate to have a lot of licensed ceremony spaces. So the flow of the day alters hugely from one to the other. And that's part of the absolute charm.
So the licensed spaces, tell me about those. Obviously, you've got inside and you've got the two gardens.
We've got the two gardens. We've got the stunning south lawn, which has got the long-reaching vistas over the private estate. Then we have probably my favourite, the Weald garden, which I just think is
gorgeous, isn't it?
So special. And for this year, 2025, we have a brand new Oriental-inspired pagoda.
Oh, wow.
So that has just been completed.
And whereabouts is that going?
So that's where the old pavilion was. So that's now gone, and we've got this beautiful, cute, little brand new pavilion pagoda. It's absolutely beautiful. So that's going to be the focal part of the Weald garden going forward. We have inside, we have the drawing room, which has capacity for just over 100 people. Beautiful, beautiful rooms. Of course, it's turret and the views over the gardens. We have the orangery, which is for weddings up to about 50, I would say, in all those beautiful plants with the stone floor and the French doors over the view. Stunning, absolutely stunning. And then, of course, we have the barn, which is just a fantastic big open space, 5 sets of French doors over its own courtyard.
And I think one of the best things I think about the castle is that everything's close by. You've got, have your ceremony, then you literally, walk around the corner, you can have your drinks reception. walk around the corner, you can do your photo shoot. It's just it's all so compact.
It is.
And beautiful. It's absolutely, it really makes the day go so well, doesn't it?
I absolutely hit on it. I think for such a spacious venue, the spaces are almost slightly circular. So you're not in a long linear walk where you've got to walk half a mile from one place to the other. It's all very convenient. One of the most important parts of wedding planning or any event planning is flow.
Yeah.
It's about the guest journey flow. So one of our big jobs really is to think about the main components of the day and where the couple would like them to take place, and then work out the flow between one and another. Just makes for a much, much nicer experience for everybody.
Yeah. So what's your favourite part of the day?
I'm going to say all of it, but specifically for me, it's seeing, and again, groom, bride, bridegroom. It's seeing the party that I'm helping walk down the aisle, leave, go through the gate, say we're in the walled garden, and it's a bride with whoever's giving her away, and just seeing her taking some nervous, deep breaths. And then you say, okay, go. And they start to walk, and it's all come together.
Yeah.
And there's someone waiting for her at the end of the aisle, and it's that moment.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Fantastic. That's such an amazing moment, isn't it? It really is.
It really is. For them, it's the culmination of maybe a year's worth of planning, and they've planned every aspect of it. And they almost can't believe that the day has arrived.
Yeah.
And I think for us, it's like, yay, it's a wedding day. But for them, it's fraught with nerves, the first part, which is why having a sanctuary to get ready in, calm, is so important. And then you just set them on their way, and that's it. That's it. It's all come together. Must be like curtain up, I imagine.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's what I think it's like, and that's just the moment. That's it.
Yeah. So tell me about the booking process. So when a couple have decided they want to book Wadhurst Castle, tell me how it works your end.
It's very straightforward, or we try to make it very straightforward. So once a couple decide they would like to book with us, I often encourage them to take a week or two just to check the date with anybody who might be travelling and just make sure that it's going to work for them. But once they decide they're going to formally book, we send out some booking documents. In terms of the payment plan, we take a £500 deposit, and then a month later, generally, we take the remainder of 50% of the fee, and then we leave them alone to book all their other suppliers, and we take the balance of the fee 6 months before the date of the wedding.
Right.
And we're very, it's really important to us. We're very transparent about pricing. The price on our brochure is the price that they pay. There are no hidden extras. VAT is included in that fee, and there is nothing more. We're not going to hit them with sudden additional charges for all sorts of strange and wonderful things that some people do.
And do you offer any all-inclusive packages at all?
The only all-inclusive package that we do is the small and intimate package. That really is for weddings, as I say, from 2 up, all the way up to about 30 odd people. It's a fantastic package that we really enjoy offering to all sorts of people coming from abroad, an increasing trend for people who really want to get married and have a wonderful meal and in a beautiful backdrop. They don't want a whole long evening. They don't want a first dance. They'd actually like something that ends a bit earlier in the day. Suits them perfectly. And that includes the catering element as well. We're a no corkage venue. So although we are in the process of applying for a non-licence, and so we may be able to set up an evening bar for people, we also offer people the opportunity to bring in all their own drinks. The caterers serve them, and we don't charge you any corkage at all.
And that is incredible. I mean, I don't know any other venue that does that.
We
amazing.
have lots of couples that they know their wine and they like particular drinks. And why not?
Yeah.
So they will bring them all in. They can use our facilities. We even do their recycling.
Wow.
So, we're really happy for them to do that, and it works really well.
It is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And what do you think is the best time of year to get married at the castle?
Our wedding season runs from the beginning of May all the way through to the end of November. There are always particular favourite times of the year. I mean, I think the castle is beautiful. The gardens have already woken up and they look stunning already. And they are gardens which are carefully planned and they look beautiful all the way through to the end of the season. I love a late autumn wedding. It's a bit of a hidden secret, but I think there are late September, October into early November weddings that are just beautiful. Those autumnal colours, the leaves changing on the trees. Just beautiful. So I think I particularly like them. And then coming round to the beginning of the year, I think by, this time of year and those early May weddings, we're so desperate, aren't we, for good weather and sunshine and being outside, that there is such a joy amongst those early weddings. So the two ends.
I think the other thing with sort of autumnal weddings is if it's a good day, you tend to get really blue skies.
Beautiful light, I mean, which you will know.
I love it,
They are beautiful, beautiful light. And I think you can sometimes see that in videography and photography from the weddings at that time of year. And you can really, really use those golden hours as well, because they're earlier, aren't they? So you can really sort of incorporate them in the day and you get some stunning footage as a result.
Yeah, no, we absolutely love that time of year. What advice do you give to couples who are at the very beginning of their journey of planning their wedding?
I would say the most important thing when they start visiting venues is to have a very clear idea of what their wedding looks like for them. There's a lot of advice on social media, well-meaning friends and family, but I think the most important thing is for each couple to have a clear idea about what they enjoy and what represents them, and then go with that. So talk to your venue about what's important to you, what are the elements that are most important to you, what do you enjoy incorporating, what would you rather not do. I think in particular post-COVID, we saw a real break with what had been previously traditions. And people felt liberated from doing a lot of things they felt they ought to do, speeches, cake cutting, for example, things like that, and just stopped doing it. It's fantastic. Yeah. Don't want to do it. Don't do it.
I've noticed since COVID, I don't think I've seen any receiving lines.
Receiving lines, a fantastic example. Absolutely. People felt they had to have a receiving line. It was one of the most awkward, weird things that I could slightly imagine it, where you have possibly a church wedding and then you arrive at a venue and you haven't actually had an opportunity to speak to anybody. So you want to have an opportunity to say hello to each person. But if you've got married at the venue and you've then had drinks with everybody, it seems a very artificial thing to do. Yeah. I've seen it practically disappear, I would have to say.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Don't like it.
No.
Don't do it.
Because it was always one of those things that I always found, it could go one way or the other. It could be very quick, or you could have some people that just stop and talk too long, and then it really starts to delay your day, doesn't it?
And inevitably, the guest's first drink is the other side of the receiving line. So they've got to get through the receiving line to get to their first drink. And oh my gosh, no.
So how far in advance should a couple book their venue?
Well, interesting, again, post-COVID, I think pre-COVID, most wedding couples would book 2 years in advance, and everything was being planned 2 years in advance. Post-COVID, economic climate, all sorts of reasons, I think that the timescale has really contracted, and I am getting inquiries now for weddings to take place in 3-4 months, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
So that's challenging, but can we do it? Of course we can do it. But I would say 6 to 18 months is now much more common.
That's really changed, hasn't it?
It really has changed.
And can you do weddings any day of the week, or are there any days that you're closed?
Absolutely. Sunday we're closed. We need 1 day a week so that any essential maintenance, etc., can take place. And we also all need to take a breath.
Yes.
But otherwise, it's Monday through to Saturday.
Okay.
Of course, we don't do events every day of the week. It's just available every day of the week. But typically, Saturdays, Fridays are extremely popular.
Yes.
Again, post-COVID, Thursdays have become extremely popular, and Mondays now.
Wow.
Seeing lots of inquiries for Mondays because they want to do something nice over the weekend and then end it with the wedding on a Monday. So
We did actually do a one-day wedding not so long ago. It's
I'm beginning to see those inquiries come through. Very smart planning.
Yeah. And what trends are you seeing this year?
I love a trend. I do love a trend, and then you see it filter through mostly from America and Australia, and then you'll see it filter through, and then you'll start to see it in the UK. I think for me the biggest trend over the last couple of years has been informality. Mm-hmm. I think that has been the biggest trend. I think the informal celebration of a couple has become an overarching trend. But within that mini trends, we are seeing lots of champagne towers. They're really, really good fun. So I'm seeing lots of that. We're seeing lots of fabulous personalised cakes that might not be sweet cakes. There might be cheese towers. There might be sorts of things. So great photo opportunities, but also little special moments. Colours, we're seeing more colours incorporated into weddings, so not everybody in white. And in terms of bridal fashion, I think we're seeing the return of the cape this year. So we're going to have some fabulous capes, bridesmaids' dresses, which are all maybe a rainbow spectrum rather than...
Yes, I've been noticing that.
Rather than one colour.
Yeah.
They're all on a spectrum, and maybe all slightly different. So it's all back to this informality, individuality. I'm totally there for it.
Yeah.
Love it.
No, it's great, isn't it? How can you help couples to stay within a budget, yet ensure that they still have an amazing day?
I think that is a concern for every single couple that we get, whether they are going to be self-funded or they have help from family. Budget is a key consideration. Weddings are expensive. I think being realistic about numbers is the biggest tool that a couple will have in their toolbox of keeping a price at a reasonable level. Not being afraid of having a smaller day wedding and then having a bigger evening party is another way of doing so. And I think our mantra, which is part of trying to be a little bit eco-conscious these days, is hire, don't buy, reuse, repurpose. We don't need to, sorry florists, but we don't need to have individual flowers. Good florists will tell them this as well. At every point of the venue, have your decor follow you throughout the day. If you dress a ceremony area beautifully, then let us move it for you. Let us repurpose it. Let us reuse it throughout the day so that you really get good value. Consider using decor items that you might then gift. So if you're having beautiful vases of flowers, which of course is such a beautiful part of any table decor, gift them to someone at the end of the day, or make it as a thank you to somebody. So there are lots and lots of little tips throughout the day. As a venue, we try and be really transparent about our pricing, and we make sure that we are good value for money. We think we're very good value for money. We always incorporate the VAT within the fee, and we make sure that we don't add any extras onto that.
Brilliant. So what do your prices start at?
So we offer different options. So we have, for example, you're able to come and just have a ceremony with us and not have it for the whole day. And we do that because we've got lovely families all around us that would love to get married at the castle, love to have some photographs, have a video done, and then go and have a reception in their garden, for example. Perfect. So they can do that, and we're more than happy. They get the same exclusive use, same everything. So we're very happy to offer that all the way through to somebody who will hire it for an entire day on a Saturday and have, the whole wedding day. And our prices start at the 2,000s and they go all the way up to 6,000. Okay. Now, including VAT for everything you get and including our services.
You.
I think it's a bargain.
It is a bargain. I think that's really reasonable considering what a stunning venue it is. That's amazing.
We try. It's one of the things that I think we're really passionate about is that it's a very aspirational venue, but it's achievable for a lot of people. And that inclusivity is something we really pride ourselves on.
Yeah. And what do you think the wedding must-haves are, though, for couples? If they are on a budget, or what do you think are the most important things that they need to include?
I would say very little. If you go to a venue like Wadhurst Castle or somewhere similar that has so much vibrancy in the gardens, so much interest within its inside spaces, you can just do away with a lot of stuff that is unnecessary. There is a lot of unnecessary stuff around weddings. So just don't do it.
Yeah.
You really don't do it. I've had fantastic couples who have made a lot of things that they have wanted to use. They have picked flowers and just had little bud vases with wild flowers in it. They have used herb pots as centerpieces, smelt delicious, and then they've gifted them. So with minimal cost and minimal waste, they've created something that's very much of them, and they've saved a huge amount of money. Nobody needs guest favours.
No, they don't, do they?
Nobody needs those things. If you're the sort of person that wants to gift them and really enjoys doing, fantastic, do it. But if you'd rather not and you want to keep things minimal, there are so many easy ways to restrict what you do. The only thing you really need, 2 people, 2 witnesses, and a lot of friends and family who just want to wish you well.
Yeah.
They will not remember all of those details. No. You don't need them.
No, absolutely not. And so can you tell me any sort of real emotional tales of any particular weddings?
I've been so privileged over the years to witness so many beautiful moments. I really, and sometimes I just think I get the best seat in the house because I get to see it from a slightly different angle. And it's such a privilege. It really is. And you'll have the same from behind that camera. You will exactly the same. It is such a privilege. There are weddings that stick out in my mind. There's no doubt about it, that I won't forget. And I will try and say this without being tearful because I get very tearful. It is the hard journeys, definitely, that touch you. There are 2 weddings in particular which really touched me. One was of a couple of chaps that I married, older chaps who had lived their entire lives with the fact that they were a couple not being acknowledged by their families. They both came from backgrounds that were very, very traditional. And they had never been acknowledged as a couple. And then the laws changed and they could marry. And they decided that they would. And the first time that their families met each other was on their wedding day, and I was their celebrant.
Wow.
And what that meant to those 2, the love that they were encircled by for the first time in their lives, and these chaps were in their late 60s, it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. As, it marked a turning point for their lives, and that I thought was wonderful. Wonderful.
And any disasters that you can tell us about?
I think disasters normally bad planning.
Yeah.
So as long as you plan, that we all do this. We all walk around with smiles and looking very serene all day, and there's a lot of fast paddling going on underneath the dress. But by and large, we're okay. There are things we can't control, weather, for example. But again, planning.
Yeah.
Planning and flexibility gets you around most things, I have to say. I think the biggest could be disaster of recent years has been COVID.
Yeah.
People had their wedding plans, and how we had couples who had to move everything by government restriction maybe 4 times. And go from 120 people to 15.
Yeah.
We were very fortunate. We worked with every single couple. We lost very few weddings, and the weddings that we had might have looked very different from the weddings that were planned, but they were wonderful.
Oh. So did you do many lockdown weddings?
We did any time that we could and the couple wanted to.
Yeah. It was 30, wasn't it? Was it under 30 guests?
We went to 15.
15,
well, we
that's
had
right,
complete bands.
Yeah.
And of course, we had couples ringing us every time there was a government announcement saying, what does this mean? What does this mean? We only knew what was being shown on the news. We didn't know anything more than they did, but we navigated our way through. And gosh, we really, really worked hard for all of those couples. But it was really down to them. We would postpone, we would work with them, we would deliver what we could deliver. There were times where there were masks on, masks off, up to 15. Not more than 2 families at one point. Do you remember?
Yes.
So I think it was maximum of 6 or 2 families. Oh. We had every variation, and sometimes things changed. From next Monday, it will now be X. So that was a really difficult time. I know of the weddings that we did in lockdown, I had so many couples that said, I wouldn't have done it any other way.
Oh.
The 30 we had was perfect. Yeah. We made sure that any lockdown wedding we did was the best it could possibly be. We really did.
Oh, it was just such a difficult time, wasn't it?
It really was.
I mean, we, as you said, we had couples that moved up to 4 times, and obviously we just accommodated all of their dates. And because there's 3 of us in the team, we were able to do that. But it was so difficult.
Very
wasn't it?
challenging. I'll tell you one fabulous story. So we had a fantastic couple, Australian family. So one set of parents was in Australia. Now, during COVID, Australia just closed its borders completely. So we kept moving them because, of course, even though the UK was opening up, Australia hadn't. They were behind us. So they kept wanting to move. And eventually, I think we got to about 3rd or the 4th time. Australian borders were open, UK borders were open, restrictions were lifted. We're good to go. We're good to go. So we have a meeting with them. It's been a while, and we're planning the actual day. Bride arrives, evidently very pregnant. Very, very pregnant. In fact, her due date is the wedding day.
No!
Is the wedding day. And I said, do you just want to move it again? Because you might be busy. No, we're going ahead. We are going ahead on that day. And in fact, now this could have been a disaster, because what they decided was that if she was in labour on the day, there was going to be a wedding with no couple. They were going ahead anyway, and they were going to zoom in from their hospital bed.
Wow. That would have been unique, wouldn't it?
And I thought that was, wow. Now, that was brave. What happened on the day is that they turned up with a very brand new little special guest who was the guest of honour for the whole day. And it was amazing.
Gosh, that's incredible. That's really brave.
It was really brave, but brilliant.
And what do you love most about Wadhurst Castle?
It never gets old.
Yeah.
It never gets old. Every time you arrive, and each day, the seasons, the different daylights, the views, just the sheep in the field, the animals that you see, deer going across the park in the late afternoon, the sunsets. It's just the most magical place. Yeah. I think we're a small team. We're all very, very good friends, and incredibly supportive. So it's just a privilege. I mean, this is what I get to do for a job, is look after fabulous couples and work in a place like that.
Oh, you're blessed.
Really blessed.
Well, thank you so much for coming in to talk to me today. It's been lovely to see you.
It's always lovely to have a chat with you. Thank you, and good luck with the remainder of the podcast series.
Thank you.
It's going to be great.
Thank you.